everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Jazwares Fortnite Legendary Series 6-inch scale Peely action figure. Now Peely is part of the Series 3 third assortment of Jazwares 6-inch figures. I had read on the Foosh forums that people are starting to find Peely at Target and Walmart, so I went and hit Target and Walmart up. Absolutely no success. Came back home. Ended up checking the Foosh forums again, and I read that at Target they're finding them in the promo aisle, the Christmas seasonal section. So I went back to Target. I found the pallet drop of the Fortnite figures, went ahead and grabbed this Peely. Then I went to Walmart to see if I could find Series 3, and they had Series 3 as well as Peely again, so I found two of them right next door to each other. What are the odds? This is not the first Peely action figure they've released. Jazwares made a 4-inch version, and McFarlane made a 7-inch version. McFarlane did a home run, knocked it out of the park, so I'm really curious and eager to see how these stack up next to each other. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. Looks like we've got Fortnite, Epic Games, ages 8+, Legendary Series, which means it's the 6-inch scale, not the usual Jazwares 4-inch scale. This guy comes with a nice amount of stuff. Looks like he's got a total of 3 different faces. He's got a mushroom that gets you 5 shields in the game. He's got the banana bag back bling. He's got the Machete Pickaxe. He's got what I'm guessing is a hunting rifle, possibly an infantry rifle, but it looks a little bit different than the infantry rifle that has already been released for Jazwares figures. And then a pump shotgun. 34 points of articulation. Peely, 8 pieces. Here he is waving on the side. Same thing on the other side. Bottom, there is a barcode if anyone needs it, as well as a bunch of credits. Back side, we've got Peely waving. Some other new figures: Raven, Leviathan, Rustlord, Molten Battlehound, DJ Yonder. More coming soon. So, with no further ado, let's open him up. And this figure was just one of many from a big Fortnite haul today. Between hitting one Target, one Walmart, I got everything I'm looking for, and I'm now fully caught up on the line. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with 2 guns, 3 faces, a pickaxe, back bling, and a consumable item to regain health. But before we look at these accessories, let's check out the actual figure. So, like I said before, I have the McFarlane Peely, and that figure is excellent. I'm really curious what I'm going to think about this one compared to that one. The top here, you can see his peel coming off a little bit. He's got a little bit of brown shading at the very top. Peel coming off the other side a little bit. His face here, I guess, is sort of a normal expression. He looks, I don't know, in awe or worried. He's going downward. Kind of odd, he's got all brown here, almost like they're supposed to simulate some kind of shorts or something. His knees are brown, it's got that little bit of knee pads on it, which is game accurate. McFarlane had that as well. Some kind of yellow shoes, brown soles. Here's the back here. Nanner nanner. Overall, he looks pretty good, but I must say the novelty of getting the banana action figure has sort of already been taken by McFarlane. They won the race and got him out first. And frankly, I think theirs looks a little better. This one maybe has a hair more articulation. It's a little bit smaller, so it sort of depends on your purposes. And then here he is broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. Next, let's take a look at all of his accessories, starting off with his faces. So here are his 3 faces. The first one there is sort of his regular head, standard default he came with. He does look a little concerned, maybe surprised, a little dread, the way his mouth is shaped. Next one there, looks like he's pretty happy, he's just chilling. He's got his eyes sort of slanted and he's smiling. And then the next one there, he's smiling and he's winking at you. All of which have pretty different personalities. It gives you a lot of display options for this figure. I wouldn't mind having one with a smiling face and 2 regular eyes like the first head. Here he is with his first face. This is sort of the look that I would give if I dropped off the battle bus, trying to get the shotgun, and this one took her right off front of my nose. It's the expression on my face when I know what's about to happen. And in turn, here's his second face. This is how I would look if I was the one grabbing the shotgun from the other guy. And then you look over to your partner and give him a big old wink and a smile. Next, let's check out his back bling. This is called the banana bag, and I wonder why. As you can see, there are bananas attached to it. Just sort of a typical brown safari looking backpack. It's got a peg that fits into a peg hole in his back. Some pouches on the side. Looks like a canteen over there. And here's Peely wearing his back bling. You can't really tell from the front, but if you spin him around. Here's his back bling next to all the different back blings Jazwares has released in their Legendary Series. Each one of these is interchangeable with each Jazwares figure. And here are all the back blings released between Jazwares and McFarlane toys. Unfortunately, they are not interchangeable between the two lines. The thickness of the peg is different between both lines. Here are several different Jazwares figures wearing each other's back blings, showing they're interchangeable, at least between the Jazwares line. So like I said before, it's unfortunate. I do wish the back blings were interchangeable between McFarlane and Jazwares, but they simply are not. The peg hole's a different width, and the pegs are different at thickness. If you were to take a Jazwares back bling and try to put it into a McFarlane figure, it would not go no matter how hard you push. And in turn, if you were to take a McFarlane back bling and try to put it into a Jazwares figure, it would fit, but it'd be so loose it'd just come right back out. Next, let's check out his harvesting tool, or more commonly referred to as a pickaxe. This here is called the Machete Pickaxe. It looks like it's like a large melon with a machete into it, and that's what you use to break down and mine materials. This is not the first time a Machete Pickaxe has been released. McFarlane made one with their Peely figure as well. Here is the Jazwares one on the left, compared with the McFarlane version of the Machete Pickaxe. Here he is holding his pickaxe, and as he's walking down by the side of this building, he hears a noise, wants to find out what it is, decides to chop on through, gain some brick, and break through. And he's broken through the wall, gained a little bit of brick, and exposed a chest. And as he went ahead and opened the chest, looks like he got a pump shotgun, a med kit, and some clingers. And here's Peely's pickaxe next to all the different pickaxes that Jazwares has released for their Legendary line. And here are all the different pickaxes from both Jazwares and McFarlane. I'm happy to say these are interchangeable between both lines. Here are several different Jazwares figures holding each other's pickaxes, showing you they're interchangeable between the Jazwares line. And then here are a couple of Jazwares figures holding McFarlane pickaxes, and some McFarlane figures holding the Jazwares pickaxes, showing that they're interchangeable between both lines, and giving you a lot of customizable options. Next, let's check out his gun. Peely here comes with a pump shotgun. Him and Rustlord both come with it, that are from Series 3. This is the first time they've released a pump shotgun between McFarlane or Jazwares. And being this is such a common weapon in the game, and it's been around since the beginning, surprised it took them this long to make one. They've made the tactical, the heavy, the fancier pump. And I must say, I'm kind of disappointed how this looks. I think it looks kind of bad. It looks too short. I really don't like the way he holds it. Just everything about it is just kind of like, eh. All their shotguns from both companies have looked great, but this looks just doesn't look very good. I mean, there is some sculpting detail, a couple different colors, but I am not impressed. One of my least favorite Fortnite toy guns they've made so far. And then here's one of each of the shotguns they've released so far. On the left-hand side, we've got the kind that McFarlane has made. At the top, we've got a legendary pump, then a heavy shotgun, and then a tactical shotgun. On the right-hand side, both from Jazwares, we've got a tactical shotgun and the pump shotgun. Here he is holding the pump shotgun. Typically, he's going to use his right hand on the trigger and his left hand to support the barrel and pump the next shot in there. One hand able to grip the pump. And then the other hand here, you can see how the trigger kind of wraps around not even his trigger finger. Kind of odd how it's set up. And it works okay. Just seems a little bit too small, not long enough proportionately. Maybe I'm wrong. And then here's his Infantry Rifle. This was sort of what I called a poor man's assault rifle in the game. Never really fond of this weapon, didn't do a lot of damage. You can see it's got a strap here. Wonder if that actually is functionable with the figure. It's got a trigger area for his trigger finger to fit inside of. Here he is holding his Infantry Rifle. His trigger finger fits into the trigger very nicely, and his other hand can support the barrel. And that's about as best as you're going to get when using the strap to holster his weapon onto his back. And even though it's not game accurate, if you wanted this guy to hold both weapons at the same time, you can sure do that. And then here are all the different guns that Jazwares has released so far for their Fortnite figures. And then here are all the different guns that have been released between Jazwares and McFarlane, not including guns that both companies have made. Here are several different Jazwares figures holding each other's weapons, showing they are interchangeable between the Jazwares line. And here are a couple of Jazwares figures holding McFarlane guns, and McFarlane figures holding Jazwares guns, showing they are interchangeable between both lines. Next, let's check out this guy's mushroom. This is a consumable item that will give you 5 shields if eaten in the game. Does seem perhaps a little bit larger than it should be compared to the game. It's got some different color on it. See some blue, teal, a little bit of gray. It's got a hole in the back, presumably for his thumb to hold it. Here he is holding the mushroom. Just like I suspected, his thumb fits into the hole, and his fingers can wrap around the base. This is the first time we received a mushroom, this type of consumable item, with the Fortnite figures. Rustlord, who's also in Series 3, also came with a mushroom, so we'll now have 2 of them. That is one thing I definitely like about Jazwares over McFarlane. They give you extra accessories, not just gun, pickaxe, back bling, but they give you some of the different type items from the game. And here is the mushroom next to all the other healing and shield type of items they've released so far. From left to right, we've got a med kit, bandages, a chug jug, a big potion, a slice of cake, and a mushroom. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at his accessories, next let's check out some other Fortnite accessories and vehicles that you can use to enhance your Fortnite collection. Here he is riding in the recently released McFarlane Fortnite shopping cart. And then here he is pushing the shopping cart. I must say I think this shopping cart fits up great scale-wise with the Jazwares line. Here he is driving the McFarlane Quad Crasher. And here he is riding on the back of the Quad Crasher. The peg even fits the peg holes on his feet, keeping him in there very sturdily. Now let's look at him with the McFarlane glider and Launchpad combo set. Here he is as he scales up with them fully assembled. Here he is getting ready to jump off the Launchpad and glide away. And yes, they scale up great with the McFarlane gliders as well. Here's Peely riding on the Frostwing, getting ready to land in there and hopefully find a gun. And here he is using one of the more common looking gliders. Here he is next to a treasure chest that's also made from the Jazwares company. This thing is a little bit oversized for these 6-inch legendary figures. This treasure chest was actually intended for the 4-inch line, and you may think to yourself, that doesn't make any sense. If it's too big for the 6-inch figures, how is it intended for the 4-inch figures? It wasn't really supposed to be scale accurate. It was just sort of an accessory pack that came with a bunch of guns and building materials inside of it. Since treasure chests are sort of a big part of the game, I was really happy to have one that's at least remotely in the right ballpark size-wise for these guys. Here he is opening up a llama. Obviously this llama is not from Jazwares or McFarlane, it's just a stuffed animal that I found at Walmart. Since llamas have sort of become a staple of the game, it's nice to have one I can use for my figures, even though it's not scaled up properly. Here he is holding a can of spray paint, getting ready to tag the wall behind him. Here he is next to a campfire. This campfire came from a NECA Friday the 13th Jason figure, and I thought it was just absolutely great for my Jazwares McFarlane Fortnite figures. Now that we've taken a very in-depth look at his accessories, as well as some other accessories you can use to enhance your Fortnite figures, next let's check out the height of this guy. So this guy here, from bottom to top, is sitting at just a hair above 7 inches tall. It's going to be about 18 centimeters. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. So his head here really can't move at all, doesn't turn, doesn't look forward or back at all. His peel here doesn't move, just can bend it just a tiny bit. Of course, his face here is removable. His shoulders are on a ball joint, but they really don't seem to move very much. I can get it to go up only about that far, and this one is stuck even more. I'm going to have to probably use some hot water on it. So I can move it down around a little bit. There is another bit of art piece of plastic between his torso area and his shoulder. I believe this is called a butterfly joint. Below that, he's got a bicep cut, double jointed elbows, they can go in all the way. Of course, his wrist here can rotate around. It's hinged as well. Then he has finger articulation to hold his weapons. He's got absolutely no articulation in his torso area. His legs, they can go out about that far, almost a full 90 degrees. There's a ball joint inside of there. Legs can go forward about that much. You may hear that sort of clicking noise as they go into each place, kind of like Revoltech joints. The other Jazwares figures are not like that. His thigh cut here can go around. Double jointed knees and go that far back. He does have a shin cut here. His feet, they can go up and down. They can rock, and they cannot really rotate around. And then he's got toe articulation in addition to that. Next, let's check this guy out compared with some other action figures. But before we do that, here he is next to a bunch of bananas. He blends right in. Here he is next to a single banana of similar size. Here he is next to the McFarlane Peely figure they made. Quite a bit taller than the Jazwares version. I must say that as a whole, I think the McFarlane one's a little better. He just looks a little bit better. The Jazwares one's accessories are definitely better. If you had a combination of the two of them, the McFarlane one with even more accessories, that'd be my ideal Peely. Now, the Peely figure is taller than the other figures from their corresponding lines. In the game, Peely's quite tall. He's really not a very smart skin to use. He blocks some of your visual area, and he's bright yellow, so there's pretty much no terrain he can hide in. Here he is next to the most recently released Fortnite figures from Jazwares. We've got Valkyrie, Black and White Skull Trooper, Peely, Restlord, Raven, and Molten Battlehound. Technically, I believe Valkyrie is still part of the second series, and the next 5 are Series 3. And then here he is next to the entire Jazwares Fortnite collection, Series 1, 2, 3, and the deluxe figures. And here he is next to the entire McFarlane Fortnite collection. And here are all the figures that I've got multiples of. You may wonder why so many. I got all 4 of the different faceplates for the Wildcard gang. To make my Royal Flush gang my DC action figure world, I got 4 of each Gold Trooper for Scarecrow Henchman in my Batman world. I got 2 Crack Shots for Toyman Henchmen, 4 Rabbit Raiders, and 4 Night Hares for Mad Hatter Henchmen. And then here he is in a huge battle royale with all of my Fortnite figures. As you can see, they're all shooting at each other, driving, healing, gliding, getting loot, sniping each other, throwing and shooting explosives. Everyone trying to see who can get the most kills, and more importantly, who can get the win. Next, let's check him out compared with some other action figure lines to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise. Here he is next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys action figures. And then here he is next to some McFarlane Toys action figures. Here he is next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles action figures. And here he is next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. And here he is next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is next to some Mafex action figures. Then next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, this is a pretty nice figure. I must say, I don't like it as much as the McFarlane one. Part of that is because I think that one looks better. I also kind of prefer that scale a little bit more. But also the fact that they released him first. This guy here, if I were to rate him, I'd probably give him a 7.5 out of 10. He is a nice figure and well executed for what he is. I might have given him an 8 out of 10 if he was released first. But McFarlane released the figure, and honestly, they did it better. This guy does have more accessories, which is nice. Getting a banana action figure is something truly kind of unique and unusual. It's not like this happens very often. What are the odds of both companies doing it within a few months of each other? So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Keep a lookout for the rest of my Series 3 Jazwares Fortnite reviews. They're coming soon. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.